Hi, and welcome to Tuesday. I just wanted to say, first of all, I think we're off to a really great start. I appreciate what an eclectic collection of students that we've been able to bring together for this class. People from all over the region and all sorts of different kinds of positions, of different experiences, and people who have been willing to share, I think, some really meaty moral dilemmas with everybody, which is fantastic. It really helps us get off to a good start to start to think and talk about some of the different experiences we've had. And I think it's great how many of you were able to resonate with some of the stories that other people had and make connections with your own experience. So I think we're off to a really good start. I'm excited about the next 2 weeks. Usually, um, as a professor, I can kind of tell early on when we got a good crowd. I think we got a great crowd here, so I'm happy for that. I want to talk to you a little bit about what we have coming up today, Tuesday. I'll actually be posting this Monday evening, but if you're seeing this on Tuesday, there are a few things that I'm having you read and a 1 hour long video I'm having you watch. So a lot of the reading is just background material, and so as you read through the article I wrote on the role of learning theory and teaching ethics, I really just did that to give you a feel about where I come from as a professor when it comes to teaching ethics. So it helps provide a baseline for you and get inside my head a little bit about the things that I think are important to do this well. And it'll help you understand why maybe I do some of the things I'm doing in this class. The key terms in the philosophy of ethics is something you really should just browse. I mean, it's more like an encyclopedia entry than a real journal article, and so it's meant for you to have as a reference. But also, I do want you to look through it and familiarize yourself, or probably refamiliarize yourself with some of this terminology. I think it really helps that we're all speaking the same language when we start to get into some of these other lectures that are coming up. I posted a guideline for a good discussion, which I think is something I've shared with classes for a really long time. I've gotten feedback that they find it really useful. I think in online classes, it's important to set expectations about the discussion and what we're really looking for. And I think so far we had like a warming up kind of discussion, but expectations will rise now that we're having discussions about content. And so I think that article will help you understand what my expectations are for what a good discussion board looks like. And I think that it's really important in an online class that we get that part right. And then finally, the justice lecture. I really like this particular lecture, and I use similar types of strategies for teaching ethics in my own teaching when I'm teaching live in front of an audience. Um, when you see things like the trolley dilemma or the footbridge dilemma, which in the field of ethics education are as fundamental as you get. I mean, just about everybody who teaches uh, this topic at some point uses that as a teaching tool. I want you to think not just about what you would do. I mean, that's interesting, and that's kind of where people get focused, but also think about really why you would choose one path or the other to pull the lever or not pull the lever, or to push or not push. And I want you to think about what could change your mind. So, what are the things that you might know, information that you don't have in the lecture, that if you had that information, questions that could get answered, that if you had them answered, might tip you in one direction or another? And I think that can be far more telling than whether or not you would act one way or another. And I think that's a good theme for throughout as we look at these different cases, because ethics isn't a case of just this is the right thing to do, that's the wrong thing to do. If that was what we were focusing on, we would just be looking at what are the rules of your profession, and then I would tell you go forth, follow those rules, be ethical, and you'll be fine. But you're pretty good at following rules, or you wouldn't have gotten this far in your academic career. So I'm not really worried about that part. I'm more worried about these dilemmas, these experiences that people will have, you will have, and already have had, where there are multiple morally defensible ways that you can move forward next. And what I'll hope to show you very soon in this intercession is that it doesn't take much difference in the experience or personal difference in how you're experiencing the moment to tip you in one direction or another. And once you realize how fragile your decision is in a true moral dilemma, I hope that we will all be more thoughtful about what those things are that do tip us in one way or another. And that's going to be a major focus of this class. And to emphasize that point, again, I do think that people are pretty good generally at knowing the difference between right and wrong when it's a clear choice. I think people are less good at actually following through with that knowledge. So a big emphasis of what we're going to be focusing on in this class is the follow through. So I hope that makes sense, and if not, it will make more sense as the next 2 weeks move forward. And I'm looking forward to reading your work on Tuesday. I hope you enjoy the video, and if you have any questions, as always, please don't hesitate to reach out and contact me.